There are many creatures who wander through the forest at night, but only one carries a tiny, secret glow. Her name was Pip. Pip was a little kiwi, small, round, gentle and soft. She lived on the edge of a quiet forest where the moss felt warm underfoot and the moonlight draped itself lazily across the ground. And every night, something magical happened. Just as the sky deepened into indigo, just as the last streak of sunlight drifted away, a tiny crest of feathers above Pip's head began to glow. Not brightly, not like a torch or a lantern, just a soft, steady buttercream shimmer, warm enough to calm the darkness and gentle enough to make the forest feel safe. No one knew why Pip glowed, not even Pip. But the forest always seemed to breathe a little easier when her warm light drifted through the undergrowth. Tonight, though, something felt different. Her glow fluttered once, twice, then brightened in a slow, rhythmic pulse, as though the night itself was asking for her help. Pip tilted her head. The air felt quiet, but not quite settled, as if the forest needed a little help finding its calm. Pip took a tiny breath. "Maybe my glow can help," she whispered, and the glow seemed to agree, glimmering softly like a nod. She stepped out of her burrow, tucked her beak to the cool air, and began her nighttime journey. Tap, tap, tap. Her little feet pressed gently into the forest floor as she walked deeper into the peaceful dark. Not far from her burrow, Pip found Lenny, a tiny gecko resting on a smooth stone. Lenny was curled up tightly, tail tucked beneath his chin, but the stone beneath him felt cool, and Lenny shivered in his sleep. Pip stepped closer and let her glow fall softly over the stone. The light warmed it slowly, warm enough to soothe, gentle enough not to wake him. Lenny's tail stretched out, his breathing deepened, his eyelids fluttered, and he relaxed into a deeper, cozier sleep. Pip's heart warmed. Her glow always made the night feel a little safer. Tap, tap, tap. Further along, beneath a low branch, a small waterbird chick named Pipkin sat wide awake. Pipkin's feathers were puffed, and his tiny legs twitched. He wasn't upset, just restless in the way little creatures often are when their thoughts won't quite settle. Pip lowered her glow until it was gentle and low, like a single warm star glimmering in the grass. Pipkin stared at the glow, blinked, blinked again, and slowly tucked his head beneath his wing. Pip watched until his tiny breaths grew even. Then she continued on. Tap, tap, tap. The forest opened into a moonlit clearing. The grass shimmered silver. The air felt cool and still. High above, Olive, a calm forest owl, sat on a branch keeping watch. Her eyes were half closed, but her feathers were slightly ruffled. "Good evening, Pip," Olive murmured. "The night feels unsettled. Your glow always helps it rest." Pip nodded gently. She lifted her crest slightly, and her glow spread outward in a calm ripple, softening the shadows, quieting the breeze, smoothing the edges of the night. Olive's feathers settled, her head dipped, and she drifted into a peaceful half-sleep. Pip continued her journey. Tap, tap, tap. At the riverbank, the sounds of night shifted. Water whispered gently over smooth stones, and reeds swayed in a slow, sleepy rhythm. There, curled between the reeds, Pip found Hazel, a tiny hedgehog. Hazel's prickles trembled, not from cold, but from leftover unspoken little worries she hadn't quite put down from the day. Pip sat beside her, not close enough to startle, just close enough for her glow to brush the tips of Hazel's prickles. The trembling slowed. Hazel's breaths grew steady. She uncurled just enough to rest her tiny nose on her paws and let her thoughts settle. Pip waited until the moment softened. Then she rose and continued on. Tap, tap, tap. The stars above blinked gently in greeting, each one seeming to sparkle a little brighter when Pip passed below. Far overhead, a pale, glowing ribbon drifted softly across the sky, a quiet path the night followed as it wrapped the world in calm. Pip lifted her face toward it. Its stillness matched her own. And for a moment, the forest felt so peaceful she could almost hear the entire night exhale. Tap, tap, tap. She walked the long path home, her glow dimming to a soft, steady whisper of light. The forest around her was no longer restless. It was calm, settled, comforted by her gentle presence. Pip yawned, a tiny kiwi yawn that made her glow flicker faintly. It was time to return to her burrow. She pushed her beak gently through the leaves at her doorway and stepped inside, where her mossy nest waited exactly where she had left it, soft, warm, smelling faintly of earth and evening air. Pip curled into a snug little ball. Her glow dimmed, softened, and slowly faded into a warm whisper of light. Outside, the night settled completely. Inside, Pip drifted into the deepest, quietest sleep, knowing that tonight her gentle glow had helped the whole forest rest, and tomorrow night her glow would guide her again. If you ever see a tiny warm shimmer moving through a forest at night, tap, tap, tap. It might be Pip the Glow-Kiwi, guiding the night into rest one gentle step at a time. Good night, Pip. Good night, quiet forest. Good night, little listener. Good night. You're listening to Whirl Stories, gentle tales for gentle sleep.